Good morning. Welcome back to Jolie Farms. We got a nice sunny day today. A little bit of volcanic ash in the air still from the volcano up north. That'll probably clear out in another day or two. If we get a good rain, it'll clear out faster. I wanted to talk to you about bananas 101 today. We're going bananas. So we're on a piece of our property here we call the food forest, and we have a lot of citrus, a lot of bananas, some coffee growing, a lot of different things here. But we want to talk to you a little bit about how these bananas grow. So right here you see we have a lot of what we call banana pups. These are little baby banana plants. So banana is kind of like a rhizome. This is all really one plant, and it shoots up these little baby pups, and we dig them up and we can move them around the property and plant them in different places. So just consider this really is all one plant. And we have some coffee growing underneath these bananas here in the shade. Coffee really loves the shade here. So we've got a big orange tree here. This coffee I did not pick this year. I just let it fall to the ground, and hopefully it'll make some new plants coming up soon. So this coffee really is ready to be roasted at this point. Of course, you'd have to get all the outer skin layers off and then roast it. So here you can see our larger banana trees growing here in this section. A lot of little babies in here right now. These trees were planted by former owners, and they haven't been cared for that much. We don't really fertilize them a lot. We do some chop and drop. Right now, they need to have some of the bad leaves cut off and dropped and just let it pile up and compost underneath the trees. The high winds we've had just rip the leaves apart and make them look really terrible, but they do tend to stand up to it. All right, we're going to take you to another part of the property and show you some other trees. Okay, so right here you see we've got a stalk of bananas. It's not a huge stalk. Bananas tend to grow well where it's really warm and humid, and that is not what we are here. Our climate's much cooler and much drier. So we're able to grow bananas. We don't always get great big stalks. This is not too bad a stalk here. Nice sized bananas, getting close to getting ready. Here's how I can tell. Bananas are kind of square when they're young, and then these square edges tend to round over. And that's when they're just about ready to go ahead and pick. You harvest bananas green and then let them ripen off of the plant. Also, when the birds start pecking on them, you know they're ready because the birds like a nice ripe banana. So if they just start to turn yellow, that's okay. But most of the time we pick them when they're green. These are not quite ready. If you'll notice, this plant is starting to lean here and from the weight of this stalk. That's kind of normal, especially with the wind we've had. Now, once we harvest this stalk and cut it off of here, this banana is done. So we'll come in here and we'll chop this off right about here, this big stalk, and we'll let all the water, this is just full of water in here. And that water will drain back down to the root system and feed all the rest of these banana pups, etc. So this particular stalk is done. This is a one and done kind of deal. So after we leave that for about a week to have all that water drained back down, then we'll come and cut it off at the bottom level with the ground. And it's good if you chop this up and just lay it around the base of banana, let it compost, and it kind of feeds the soil around it. So as you can see here, here's a pup came up right beside it, and that'll be the next one to put on bananas here. So this is next year's banana right there in my hand. All right, we're going to walk over and show you another spot. Okay, so we're in another area of our property. We have actually swaled this property up. It's a deep slope here, and we've cut some terraces and swales in here to kind of help hold the water and help some of these plants so it doesn't just run off the hill. Right here, these are brand new pups. They're less than 2 months old. We planted these in here, and so we're putting rabbit manure around these because bananas do require a lot of fertilizer. Either fertilizer or compost something. So we do the rabbit manure, and these pups are just taking off. Now, if you look up the hill, up this way, you can see, of course, our house and our casita, but you see a really nice big stalk of bananas hanging there on the batch on the right. Those are all fairly new bananas. They were planted in there 2 years ago. You see we've been harvesting some bananas off of there. Got new pups coming up beside. And we're going to get up there a little closer because I want to show you a couple of things. Okay, we're on the next swale up right here. So this is going to be a nice stalk here. We still got a little ways to go. We did do a little irrigation this morning because bananas do take a lot of water. Now you can see a half of a stalk right here where we've chopped it in half, and that needs to go ahead and come out. So we'll chop that off at the surface and it'll be good. Now these are all kind of a Cavendish style banana. The plant right back here, this is a red banana, and it's the first of its kind we have on our property. The red bananas are got to be my favorite. Our bananas on this property taste so much better than anything we can buy in town. I feel like most of the tiendas pick them way too early, and you know, they just don't have the flavor. While we don't get the giant stalks of bananas that they do in the warmer areas, our bananas here are super, super flavorful. So we don't mind having a few less bananas on a stalk, you know, if we can get that wonderful flavor to them. So this is the next terrace up. What we also have growing underneath these bananas is we have what's called camote. Now this is basically a purple sweet potato. It's a local potato. They're kind of purple and white inside. I don't much care for the texture, but Ecuadorians love them. A lot of people love them. They're pretty good, make pretty good French fries actually. So what we did here is we dug a hole and we planted 4 pups around the hole originally, and we filled the hole full of compost. So all of these bananas and the new young ones coming on are all feeding off that hole of the compost, if you will. So this has been an experiment, you know, to see how this works, and it's working out pretty well. So we're going to show you now our next little pups that we planted about 4 months ago and show you how they've come along. Okay, so this has been a project of Lisa. She's cut these terraces in here and kind of swales, and we've got pups here. They're about 4 months old roughly, and you can see how fast they're growing. We will we'll have bananas off of these in about a year. So we have a lot of plants growing at different stages here. You see on this tree back here, really nice stalk of bananas coming on. That's going to be a good one. There's probably, you know, 50, 60 bananas on that one. And, you know, we're probably a month away from picking those. There's a mandarin tree just to the right of it, and it puts out a lot of real small mandarins, but boy, are they nice. Very flavorful, very sweet. Then over here, I want to show you this since we're here. This right here is a macadamia tree. We have a couple of them on the property. We haven't had any fruit from them yet. They're not that well cared for. We do plant the comfrey underneath each one of them, and we do a chop and drop with the comfrey around the base of them. And we do that with all of our fruit trees here. It just takes a long time for macadamia to fruit, and we're at about the 8-year point on that tree, I would say. So this could be the year we finally get some fruit. If we do, we'll let you know because we'll have a big celebration. We're also doing some work around here with what we call peanut grass. And this does not produce a peanut. It produces a little yellow flower that the pollinators love. But the wonderful thing about this peanut grass, and I'll show you back here on this hill, we've got it kind of growing in here really well. So this is the peanut grass right here. And you see it's got a long strand, and the roots on this peanut grass go 2 to 3 feet deep. So it's an excellent plant for trying to hold soil in place. And it's also an excellent plant because it's full of nitrogen. This makes great rabbit food. It makes great chicken feed, makes great compost, makes great compost tea. And you can just chop and drop this stuff and put it around the banana plants. It does a wonderful job. It's kind of like asparagus. The roots go down real deep, and it pulls up minerals from down low, brings them up to the surface. When we do our liquid fertilizer in the barrel, we usually put some of this peanut grass in there as well. And we've got this growing in various places on the property, and we're actually propagating more of it. Extremely easy to propagate. You just pull up a little stalk of it, stick it in the ground somewhere, and it'll root and it'll take. This is not the best time of year to propagate because we're not getting any rain to speak of right now. But in about a month from now, it'll start to rain again, and we'll be propagating a lot of things on the property. So peanut grass works really well around the banana trees. Peanut grass works well around everything that we do, really. And we have a lot of cannas growing here, a lot of lilies. The cannas are great for chop and drop, and we'll chop those down, throw them around the base of bananas. And so just to understand, bananas at this elevation, we're at 2,000 meters, or about 6,400 feet roughly. And it's just not the most ideal environment, but they do pretty darn well. Again, if we were on the coast, they'd be a lot bigger and heavier and grow a lot faster. But we're still learning about bananas, and we're still taking advice from the locals and learning how all this works. And it's coming along quite well. We look at it as a great food source. We dehydrate them. We do all sorts of things with bananas, make banana cakes and banana breads, and we share with everybody in town and all of our friends. And so we love the bananas. We like going bananas. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give us a thumbs up.